Hi, investigators. Hi, investigators. Casey, Mike Evans. Christmas Eve 2021, and we're stone cold sober. How are you, Casey?
I'm well, thank you. Looking forward to Christmas.
That's great. Let's do our introduction. We'll come back and have a chat. So a very happy Casey and I are 29 minutes away from having Christmas holidays.
Yes.
You finished all your shopping, Casey?
I sure have.
Oh, well done. Okay, so it's
Thank
all down here. All you've got to worry about is entertaining everybody tomorrow.
That'll be fine.
G'day, Renee. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas, Renee.
Thanks for your support this year, Executive Vice President Renee. We're looking forward to a really big year next year, and it's always great to have your company. So thanks for checking in. We trust you and your family and all the people watching and their families will have a wonderful Christmas. We won't be back next week. We'll be back the week after. So this is sort of going to have to be a Christmas New Year combination. So we actually do get a holiday. I'm going to cover the things that we have to cover because in the 7 years of posting investigation positions vacant on our Facebook page, I've never had a job available Christmas Eve week ever, and there's plenty there this week. So I've got to cover those and go through them. Once I've done that, we'll come back with Casey. We'll be talking a little bit about marketing, and then I'll talk about the success of our schools and what a great year it's been and all that sort of stuff. And that's Ted Hastings telling me to get on with it. If you missed it, well, I'll play it again because it's very Christmassy.
Oh, dear.
That's known in the investigation industry as a TEDism. And if you haven't seen Line of Duty, people, it's going to have to be your Christmas investigation binge watching program, because they have a lot in common with us. They have coffee mugs. And their coffee mugs in AC12, which is where they work, they go after bent coppers, and they have a bent cuppa. And coming up in the new year, we'll have a blind investigator. And the blind investigator mugs have arrived. They're in a big sealed box behind my computer screen. There is only 20 of them, and you'll be able to get one of those. So thanks, Ted, for giving me the hurry. G'day, George. How you going, buddy? Good to see you.
Hi, George.
I hope you're not at work, mate. I hope you're on holidays. Boy, oh boy, you'll never get home in the traffic tonight. Oh, great to see you, mate. You have a wonderful time and your family as well too, and a great new year. So I'll run through the job vacancies now. Ted's given me the hurry up, and just have a look at some. These are amazing. Some really good ones. Okay. Precise corporate risk. They want factual investigators, which are circumstance investigators in Victoria. Now, you contact careers at Precise Investigation. Tass is the person in charge of the careers down there. He's going to be on holidays through most of January, but there'll be certainly someone there manning the email or person in the email. So get in touch with them. If your license is on the way, they want to hear from you. You'll be doing workers' compensation, general insurance and public liability investigations at Precise. QBE Insurance in Perth are after a surveillance investigator. You must be available on call, a claims investigator, and as part of your role, you must be available on call 24/7 during surveillance activities. And you're going to be helping out all around the country. So there's a great covert job for QBE over in Perth, actually running claims and doing surveillance. Doesn't get much better than that. That is pretty good. A disputes and investigation officer in Launceston, Tasmania for the Residential Tenancies Authority. That's pretty good money that they're paying down there in relation to that. You must have a certificate for in government investigations. Mentioned this one last week. 8 compliance officers work from anywhere in Australia. You must have a certificate for a diploma in investigations. That will be highly regarded. So you can work from your home office doing compliance investigations in Victoria. This is for government, so you don't have to have a private investigator's licence for that one. You'll need a certificate for a government investigation. Small Business Development Corporation over in Perth, they want a senior business intelligence analyst. That's an investigator. Now, it's a corporate role, so you don't need a licence, and you'll be earning up to $115,000 per annum doing corporate intelligence for the Small Business Development Association. This is a beauty. This is a really good one. Queenslanders, heads up. UWI on the Sunshine Coast, they want you to be an investigator for them. You must have a licence. Now, this is incredible. This is an insurance company who you'll be doing CTP liability claims for, who are saying to you, you must have a licence. So that is a big change of attitude in Australia in relation to internal insurance investigators. So previously they would never have had to be licensed. Now UWI are saying, for whatever reason, UWI are paying the money, they want you to have a license. So if you're in Queensland, you're a licensed investigator, you've got CTP liability, that is a great opportunity to skyrocket your career into the atmosphere. Inspector for Greyhound Welfare down in Sydney. In Victoria, this is a massive industry. So in New South Wales, I don't doubt it is too. So they're paying up to around about $94,600. This organisation wants to pay you $120,000 a year to be a licensed private investigator for them. Wise Workplace, LKA, will pay up to $120,000 a year. Whoa, look out. You can do some part-time work for about 50 grand and earn $1,000 a week. But if you're serious about it, they've got the work, they've got the money, they've got the means to advance your career. Factual and surveillance investigators are required throughout the Northern Territory and M&A investigations in Darwin. Now, I've had an absolute last-minute job that I couldn't get up because I just ran out of time. I've got a surveillance operative job in Cairns. So get in contact with me, text me about that surveillance operative job in Cairns. Any of these jobs that you see me put up here today, okay, they are all available on our Australian Security Academy job vacancy Facebook page. So you're never going to remember Australian Private Investigator, Corporate and Government Investigation jobs, but what you've got to do, people, is just replay this after you've watched it. You can always watch the replay, or tomorrow you can watch it on our secret YouTube channel where you can see replays of all of these Friday Spy Curious shows that we put on. But for all the jobs you just see me do, except the one that's last minute and in Cairns, go to this Australian Private Investigator, Corporate and Government Investigation jobs. Now, that is all our jobs for this week. I've got to cover a couple of pieces of news that are really, really important. But there is a new guy at the Office of Fair Trading, and he is sending out letters to new graduates saying that your qualification must have this in it: comply with regulatory, taxation, insurance requirements for the micro business. No, you don't. That's superseded. This is what you get on your qualification: address compliance requirements for the new business ventures. It's in the BSB package, and it's the correct one. So if you have an Australian Security Academy qualification, and of course you do, because you're a smart investigator, right? You let me know if you get any grief from the new guy at the Office of Fair Trading who's sending this out and doesn't know what he's doing, and I'll sort it out for you. You just send it through to me, and I'll make sure that they pay attention and get their compliance issues right. So that's first bit of news. I'll be back with more in a minute, and I'll turn this off. Casey, what have we got this week?
No marketing this week. I thought I would talk a bit about the intelligence cycle. So especially after you put up that job about an intelligence analyst, that's exciting. I will just sorry, jump into my thing here. So the intelligence cycle. I love this. As an investigator, I'm always trying to do better with every single job. As an investigator knows, no job is ever exactly the same, and there is always something that you can learn from it or do better. And using this intelligence cycle really helps you reflect and also plan your investigations. So I've got 3 little things here to help you along. If you've never heard of the intelligence cycle, you can just look it up. There's plenty of YouTubes on it, and there's people that are much more qualified to speak on this than me. But this is how I use it to help me get better as an investigator. So the first thing I think of is, how does it apply to me, or how does it apply to you in the investigation that's landed on your desk? So the first thing, if you look, whoopsie daisies, Merry Christmas, clicking the wrong thing. In the middle here of the intelligence cycle is mission, or as we call it in investigations, our objective. So what is your objective? And this really depends on where your job has come from. So for example, if I'm sitting at home and I get a call from CH and they say, Casey, I have this surveillance job for you. There is a house. This is the residential address. We need pictures of the people coming in of that house. That's my objective, is purely surveillance and purely to go and have a look at this house and get the footage of the people coming in and out of that house. So
He's talking about our Christmas stockings.
Yes, I know.
He pays attention to the really important stuff. He's a detailed man, George is.
Oh my God. So with this cycle, how this job, my mission or my objective is purely to get surveillance. And surveillance is information, and it's completely different to intelligence. So information is different from intelligence, as in it's unevaluated and unprocessed data, whereas surveillance gathers that unprocessed data and is not intelligence. I've been asked to gather information, not intelligence. That's really important to remember when it comes to surveillance. You're not asked to glean an idea about what's happening or anything like that. You're the fact collector. You're there to get information. You're not there necessarily to provide intelligence. That is the person that's given you the job. It's their job to get the information together, evaluate it, and come to a conclusion for the client. It wouldn't be mine if I was just asked to do surveillance on a house. So obviously the planning and direction is where you start. And I know that I'm pretty sure Alex did it, didn't he, Mike? A really good planning YouTube not too long ago, which is fantastic. So you can go back and have a look at that. And then collection, obviously I would go out and do the surveillance. And then processing, I'm not asked to do intelligence, so I don't have to process it at all. I do not have to evaluate it. I just have to produce it and disseminate it to the client. Whereas if, for example, I had a job land on my desk that was from a private client and they have a big objective in mind, then I have to look at it from that perspective. So my objective is the client's objective, and that's what you have to get really clear and specific on. And then your planning and direction phase is a whole lot bigger than that. So I could talk about this for ages, but I just want to be a little bit quicker because it is Christmas Eve. So step number 2 for using the intelligence cycle is know when to stop. This also comes back to whether you are just gathering information or intelligence. So if intelligence isn't required, you skip the processing part. That's not your job. You need to get it to the case manager or get it to the client. You've got the information, you've got the cold hard facts there, and you're handing it off. So you don't need to go down any rabbit holes. You don't need to look at other things. It's just your job to get what you've been asked to get and hand it over. if there is something that you feel is extra information that is worthy, always speak to your case manager or to the client, and whether it's relevant or not, then you can put it in your report. That's always a fantastic way to go about it, because communication is really key. You don't need to go off on any tangents, and I know a lot of case managers, they don't really appreciate it if you put extra bits that you think are important in there, because they've already got people on that. Your job was to do this, and other people are doing this. So communicate to your case manager if you have found something that you think is important. And obviously, if it's your job, for example, if you're doing an open source intelligence case, if it is your or you're doing a intelligence analyst job, if it is your job to gather intelligence, then you do have to go through processing and evaluation and gathering all of the information together. So you do have to go through the processing. And final one is, have you met the needs of the client? So always ask this question. It is so important. Don't ever just go, oh, okay, I feel like I'm done. Wipe your hands and go, there you go. Good luck. It doesn't work like that. If you would like to get better as an investigator, if you want to do your job properly and impress the client, that's always the final question you need to ask is, have the needs of the client been met? So have you reported it in a way that shows the way that you came about the information or the intelligence? So is your report clear and concise and timely, and all of the stuff that you learn when you study at the Australian Security Academy, for example? Is all of that there? And if you feel like you're missing something, if you feel like there's something more, always, again, communication is key. Speak to your client or speak to your case manager. And if you feel like the needs haven't been met of the client, then you start again in the intelligence cycle. So go back to planning and direction. Look at whatever you have and look at where you need to go now. So this is just a very brief and broad overview of the intelligence cycle, but it's always something that's fantastic to have in your arsenal as an investigator to help you plan and help look at where you're going, what you're trying to achieve, and make you a better investigator.
Thank you, Casey. I'm sure it will work for people, and that's a really great presentation, as George just said. Very informative. And nice stockings too. All right, let's have one last look at George's stockings. Where did we put them? They'll be here somewhere.
Yeah.
There they are, right. Great presentation, Casey. Now, supporting what Casey just said, this week, our project this week, and you can go to our YouTube channel, but you can actually see it. We're doing the light introduction into risk management. Now, with these, there's parts 1, 2, and 3 about risk management. The first part is just the introductory part, the context of risk management that you'll do, and it goes right through to the third part. There will be more. There will be more coming. Just we ran out of time this week with being the end of the year and everything. Okay, right. That's done it. Okay. I was ready for that. So we've done the light introduction with 3 30-minute presentations. So you can see them over on our YouTube channel. And the first one's a context, the second one's identifying risks, and the third one brings it all together and brings it into the corporate or investigation agency context, and it talks you through a little scenario of preparing for it. It actually covers 7 nationally recognised qualification units that we teach. Qualifications, nationally recognised qualifications, and 14 units of competency. But it's done in a manner where it's 30 minutes long. It's it's a good introduction. It's not heavyweight, and no 130-minute presentation is the be-all and end-all of security risk assessment. It's just bringing you into that concept and getting you to practice and become familiar with it. So if you've got a spare minute when you've got a break between Line of Duty episodes this Christmas, because you're going to binge watch Line of Duty, because I just told you to do that, and you're going to benefit from my wise guidance there, then just jump on our YouTube channel and watch those things. They're no cost, they're free, and you can just have a look at the little introduction. And I think it does mention intelligence cycle in a couple of places there, just to support what Casey's just said. Further news this week, people. There's been some beauties this week. In Victoria, there was a police officer. She was dismissed from the police, and what she was doing, she was finding, just got to find the heading. She was finding vacant properties, and she was taking over those vacant properties in her own name. So they'll be abandoned or vacant properties, and she'd take them, and she was actually behaving corruptly in her position as a police sergeant. Now, nobody likes this. The police hate it. They absolutely hate it. There was no support for her from the police in this. She did it off her own bat. She's sentenced to 4.5 years in relation to 10 fraud offences. That's pretty heavy. That she's not going to do easy time being an ex-police officer. How much of that she has to serve, I don't know. But wow, boy, oh boy, that's pretty heavy stuff down in Victoria that finalised this week. We were only talking about it, I think, in probably January, February this year, where she was exposed as doing it and removed from the police force. There was claims of mental disability, stuff like that. I reckon there would be, choosing to go that path. Things must have been pretty bad in her mind at the time, so not good choices. So that's happened down in Victoria. So she was actually one of AC12's bent coppers. Line of Duty, people, we've got to watch it. Yeah, you've got to watch Line of Duty. Yep, make sure you do. And the other news this week, this is a beauty. This is one we're going to watch with intense interest. Frank Monty, down in Sydney, has been arrested after a covert drug operation at his home in Waterloo in Sydney. Last time I heard from Frank, he was up in Gundagai, I think. Yeah, either Gunnedah or Gundagai. I get the two confused, but it was in New South Wales. So might be moving in between places. So what they've been doing is they've been listening to the conversations and activities and what's been happening at an ATM in Double Bay. And I'll tell you what, the amount of drugs they found between the three people they arrested, I don't think it was massively commercial quantity. But we'll follow it and see what happens. Frank's 76 now. He was arrested, so he'd be bailed. And if you're watching, Frank, g'day. Hope you have a great Christmas. We'll see what happens from there. So we might even see if we can get him on the show. If you have got time in between Line of Duty and watching the Australian Security Academy binge watch risk management programs over Christmas, get on Frank's website and have a look at Frank's photo with Donald Trump. And Frank's photo with all the other celebrities there. It's quite an interesting read. And Frank tells everybody there that he's never lost a case and he never will. So the police are up against it after arresting him recently. So Frank's website, really, really worth have a look around. Been around forever. Yeah, so that's in the news this week. And got all those done on that. Done all that. Oh, God. I was just so full of it this week.
God. More Line of Duty.
Stayed up late last night. So with all that. So, people, we are going to be back in the first week of January. We won't be having a program for New Year's Eve, so everybody have a chill and relax in relation to that. And we do sincerely, Casey, Alex, Donna, myself, wish you a really wonderful Christmas. I hope you have the 4 F's of Christmas: faith, family, friends, and fun with surveillance toys. Yeah, this is what Christmas is all about for private investigators. Isn't it, Casey?
Absolutely. It's time to try out new stuff.
So 4 F's of Christmas: faith, family, friends, and fun with surveillance toys. What else would you do? This is a private investigator program. So people, that's the end of our program. Thanks very much, Renee. Thank you for your support. Great to see you, George, and everybody else that's watching. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time, and look forward to see your smiley faces then. Hope you recharge, binge watch all those programs if the weather turns nasty like it's supposed to in Queensland. And we'll just put up our little Christmas banner. Where is it, Case? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Put up our Christmas banner. There it is. Thank you. And nice stockings. And I've got to play this.
작전 종료. 전원 복귀할 것.
Facebook this week, Michelle. That was very kind of you. And Michelle's very happy with her marketing stuff you sent to Casey from last week.
Oh, great.
And she put up a lovely recommendation on Facebook. In fact, we've got some great feedback, Pat and I, this week. Some people just really wrote some really special notes. I get in trouble for not displaying them everywhere, but it's a personal thing between our students and ourselves who we've got to know over the time, and we really appreciate the kind comments that they send us privately, and they do in public as well. So that's it, people. Thanks very much. See you in 2 weeks' time.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Merry Christmas.